Hello everyone, this is Bowser Galaxy 10.
This seemed fitting.
Welcome to our Rambling Review.
Review number 50, Persona 5 the Animation.
Yep.
Something told me this just fit.
Seemed like a good number 50.
Yep.
So,
I will say this right now, this is not as bad as people on the internet say it is. I think a lot of people see like the very first early episodes where they did not have an animation budget and just label the whole show as those. But once you get into it, it actually does like improve drastically.
yeah, I gotta say, my thoughts, I will say this though, my thoughts, what I thought I was going to say about this has honestly changed in the past couple hours. Honestly, I think that the middle of the anime is great. I think the end and the beginning are kind of weak.
Yeah.
I think the
best part of this anime is when they're doing stuff that's not in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, when they're not trying to copy the game and they're kind of doing their own thing, they actually do some really cool stuff.
That is actually my favorite part of the Persona 4 anime as well, when they just had you doing random crap with the Confidant stuff.
Yeah, and actually,
social link stuff.
I think they actually did a very good job with the Confidant stuff, especially considering how little time they actually have. Yeah. I think they did a really good job with the Confidants. And the other thing I think they also did really well is, like, Akechi is done... I almost think Akechi's done better in here than even in Royal. Yeah. I almost think it's even better than Royal.
I'd say that too.
They actually did a fantastic job with Akechi in the animation.
Yeah. So, are we gonna go through every arc in order?
Sure, yeah.
Kaneshiro? That's probably one of the weaker arcs. Weird because it has the most time given to it, because it's like 5 episodes long and it just doesn't go that well.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really have its footing around there.
Yeah, I did think that the pacing was I remember the pace. Like, I watched part of the Kaneshiro arc back when it was first coming out, and I actually remember the pacing being way worse than I actually found it on this watch through. Like, I found the pacing of it wasn't actually too bad, but it just wasn't that cool. Yeah. There just wasn't a lot of impact to it a lot of the time. And I think a lot of that was the animation. Maybe some of the individual scenes weren't paced super well, but... Yeah, I will say this, though. People are perfectly fine with making fun of the all-out attack thing. Yeah, first all-out attack. They did not do well at all. It's not good. Like, again, when they're not trying to copy something from the game is when this anime shines. Yeah. The Kaneshiro arc, not great. Yeah. But it could be worse.
Madarame arc.
I can't remember. I feel like it was okay. I honestly don't remember it that well, though. It didn't really leave any impact. I feel like...
Which, again, is weird because, again, that one had a good amount of episodes dedicated to it. Like, oddly, it feels like the arcs where they had more of a time crunch, they did better.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
Kaneshiro, I think, is when this anime becomes way better.
Yeah, the Kaneshiro arc was actually pretty great.
Yeah, that's the moment, I think, when this anime finally figured out what it wanted to do.
Yeah, which I think is really funny, because in the game it's probably one of the weaker arcs. I'd say it's probably like the second weakest arc in the game. maybe Madarame's weaker, but it's one of the weaker arcs, I think, and it's way better in the animation.
It did great.
Like
it also had a really good setup with Makoto. Like, I believe the setup with Makoto way more in the animation than I did in the game.
Yeah, you actually, like, I feel like you actually get like Kaneshiro actually being there and being, like, he actually feels more involved, and, like, he actually, like, I don't know how to explain exactly why I feel this way, but he just felt like he had more of a presence than he does.
I believe in the Kaneshiro arcs also when they started, like, doing the Confidant stuff, like, one thing I did like how they merged some of the Confidant stories together. Like they had like the Kawakami and Ryuji arc like intertwined with each other, which made a lot of sense. Where Kawakami could keep eyes on the track team since they didn't want Ren and Ryuji around.
Yeah.
So it actually worked with Kawakami telling Ren how the teachers were reacting to it.
Yeah.
So I think that worked actually really well. So yeah, I'd say the Kaneshiro arc is pretty much when this anime starts actually getting good.
And one other thing, this will be a kind of a quick sidebar thing, but it is related to the Kaneshiro arc. I will say the actual fight with Kaneshiro is probably. This is like a compliment to the Kaneshiro arc and a negative to the entire rest of the anime. Is that the Kaneshiro fight is great. The Kaneshiro fight is fantastic.
That's the best fight in the anime.
It's the best by far.
Yeah.
Like all the characters are involved in doing cool and interesting stuff. There's real tension. They're like, how are we gonna beat this? And then they come up with the way you would solve the problem they were running into
is throwing an item.
Yeah, it's throwing an item, which is like they haven't established the items, so be really as a thing, so it'd be really weird to just bring it up.
So they don't.
So instead, they're like, what if we burned his money?
Yeah.
Which makes total sense!
Yeah!
I think that's so clever! I love it so much! It was that was the one fight where I'm like, this is great!
It reminded me of the P4 anime stuff, actually, where all those bosses would be, like, changed up.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to a big negative I have with, like, the whole animation otherwise. Almost every single fight scene is not good.
Joker's too OP, it feels. Joker feels like he's being some high-tiered speedrunner just blowing through the game.
Joker is super OP. Most of the Phantom Thieves feel very powerful. Like,
they do one attack and then they're done.
Yeah, like almost every fight is like, ha ha ha, I am the evil villain, you cannot defeat me, and then it's just, I attack,
then I attack.
And then I attacked, and sometimes they do an all-out attack that looks kind of mediocre.
Yeah, and then it's done.
Yeah. It's not great. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, the fight... Yeah, it's not like the P3 anime where they had, like, the time and budget to throw it in. I don't think they had the time or budget to make fights for them.
Yeah, it's not great.
Futaba arc?
I feel like there was something where wasn't there... I can't remember when exactly, which palace it was. I feel like there was a section where they, like, got stuck in the palace, and then Joker did something in a Confidant, and it let him solve what was going on in the palace. Oh, no,
that's Haru. That's Okumura.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's Nijima. That's a Nijima thing.
Oh, that was during the Nijima fight.
Okay. Yeah, that's during... Okay, that's during the Nijima arc.
Yeah, I think there might have been another one with the Nijima fight, though.
Maybe. No, I don't think there was.
The Nijima fight was okay, actually, now that I think about it. That was like
That's like
as
second
Kaneshiro,
place.
But that was not anywhere near as good as Kaneshiro's.
But yeah,
like
Futaba arc just kind of happened, honestly.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty decent job with like establishing Futaba as a character well. Like that.
Oh yeah, one thing I actually
the infiltration was underwhelming, but like to Futaba's development and her like revealing Futaba as Alibaba and
one thing I actually did really like about the Futaba arc is the end of the Futaba arc where they actually had like Futaba like the training Futaba week doesn't really happen. She's just like they still have certain parts of that, but Futaba's like a lot less like thrown in. Doesn't feel like she's being thrown into it.
It feels like she's more.
I like the ending of it, if I remember correctly, is like one of the things where it's like, oh right, Medjed, push, they're done.
that was pretty fun. Instead of her spending the whole day on it, she just, which honestly is probably more realistic. I like both versions actually, because it's like it's kind of realistic.
I like the animation one because
the animation one is really fun.
I like the animation one because it's not designed by a good hacker. Is the thing.
That's
like
fair.
it's not designed well, which is why Futaba is able to break into it so easily.
Yeah, that is kind of fair actually.
So here's the arc that I think we can talk about for a bit: the Okumura arc. This anime had a bit of a difference with this arc.
I'm trying to remember the details of it. Okay, so like
I think they fixed up the Morgana part of it.
The Morgana and Ryuji whole thing. I think it was done quite a bit better. I think a lot of it is.
One of my favorite parts of it is when Morgana's kicked by the Haru boyfriend, and Ryuji's immediately like up to act.
I think what makes it work really well is in the game it kind of like it feels
kind of
like
pace breaking.
Well, I think it's like it's what you're saying with Ryuji is that it's like in the game it feels like he gets mad at Morgana. Morgana leaves, and he stays kind of mad at Morgana. Like, he's like, yeah, you guys are probably right. I should probably apologize. And you're like, Ryuji, why?
And then in the
anime, he immediately was like, oh crap, why did I say that? I feel so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that actually feels way more... Like, I don't feel like he's wildly out of character in the game. I never felt like he was wildly out of character in the game. But this, in the animation, he feels totally in character. Like, this feels like exactly how he should be.
Yeah.
Like, if the game did it like this, I'd be like, the pacing is a little weird. The basic thing's a little weird, but this is a kind of a cool interaction between them, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was a huge improvement.
What I can say as well is that Haru and Okumura's relationship is also shown.
Yeah.
Like that is my biggest gripe with the Okumura arc in the game is that you know freaking nothing about this guy.
Yeah, it's pretty much just you get. Yeah, that's a good. I didn't really think about that, but that's a really good point. That
like
Haru,
like
in the game,
it's the only
yeah.
like Okumura is the only villain you do not have any interaction with at any point. Like you only see Haru talk to him like twice. Like once when the time limit's introduced, and then once when the calling card's sent.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like how are we? Basically, when we're like, as a player, we're like, how are we supposed to feel about Okumura? And all we get basically is like
he overworks people.
We got like 2 brief scenes. He overworks his workers, I guess. And Haru briefly is like, I feel a little conflicted because he's my dad and I love him, but he's also being evil. Oh my goodness. And it's a they're telling not showing situation.
Meanwhile, this one they were able to show a bit more of it.
Yeah, I think
where they showed a lot more on the grandpa storyline, they shed a lot more light on that scenario. Yeah, which was the whole point on Okumura turning into what he was.
And didn't they have like a flashback scene of like young Haru and there's like actually like being happy with him?
Yeah.
Like that really like actually seeing her experience with him as being a good dad.
Yeah, the only time we get that in the game is Royal.
Yeah. And
like, literally, that's the only time.
Only briefly, and it also, you could feel like that's just, this is what she wanted him to be.
Yeah.
This actually shows she had the experience of him being a good father, and then he wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Which makes you feel for her a lot more. And
so yeah, the Okumura arc is probably what I would say way better in the anime than the game. It's like the one arc where I could safely say the animation did it way better.
Yeah, it's
like there's no contest. You get way more emotion with Haru and Okumura himself.
Yeah, if the game basically did what the animation did, I think it would just be better.
Here's something else. I felt something when Okumura died in the animation. I have never had that in the game, where I'm like, oh, okay. Guess he's down. Haru. And you also get more of a feeling of Haru's impact of it, too.
Yeah, like, I kind of like that. I kind of like, I don't hate her reaction in the game, where she's like, okay, I need to go. She's like at least a little composed. She's composed enough to like talk to them before she leaves, but she still has to leave. And the animation, she's just like, she's lost it. Like,
yeah,
which I think I like better, but I think I like how they did the animation better. That she's just completely distraught about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Okumura section is actually really well done. That is.
Yeah.
I feel like the Kaneshiro arc and the Okumura arc are actually very good in this anime. Like those are the sections where like the anime is like where the animation is being like consistently good.
There's one more that I'd say is good, and that's the Nijima arc.
Nijima arc, that one's also really good. Nijima,
that's what the point where we finally start getting stuff with Akechi as well. Like we've had more snippets of him throughout. Then he just goes on full blast. I freaking love what they do with Joker and Akechi in the animation throughout it.
Yeah. First of all, first thing about
we actually see Akechi do detective stuff.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, seeing Akechi actually do detective stuff, you're like he in the game you see him like do a little he's like, I'm a super smart detective. And you never see him actually being a super smart
really the only time he gets this super smart thing is really the only time you get him being super smart thing is the card. Is the second card in Nijima's palace in the game.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in this one, you actually see him do stuff. You see him calculating.
And also, he literally is working with Joker, which makes it feel like, which it kind of fits into one of my favorite things about how they did Akechi. It legitimately feels like, in the game, I almost think they're not actually trying to trick you into thinking that they want you to know that he is betraying the Phantom Thieves in the game.
In the anime,
if they're trying to trick you, they did such a bad job of it.
Yeah, they did not try. They like it's just like, gee, I want to. Meanwhile, in the anime, they do a good job actually. Like I can see a first watcher of the anime not realizing it until like 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah, it's actually, and I think that the fact that he's working with Joker really, it feels like he actually is. It makes it. He feels a lot less like an outsider to the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah.
In the animation, he actually feels like he's not just like, oh yeah, I see Joker sometimes at the cafe and I talk to him a few times, and even in Royal he's like, yeah, he hangs out with you sometimes, but it doesn't feel like he's that involved with the.
In the animation he's dead on. Like they get him spot on.
I'm pretty sure doesn't he like literally help him catch some of their mementos, like one of their mementos targets.
Yeah.
Like it's great. It's really great.
Also, one other thing that I like is that they I believe it's Futaba that gets her confidant in this arc. Like I believe it's Futaba that gets her confidant arc in this.
I forgot about that.
I love that.
That Akechi is
Akechi's involved in.
Akechi's involved in catching his uncle. His uncle. That is so good.
That is the best part.
I love
honestly,
that so much.
That's my favorite part of this whole anime. Is that one part?
That might be the best part of this whole anime. That was so good
because they put fruit. They give a reasoning for it that Futaba's not really working. That's they have it in the perfect spot of Nijima's palace as well when Futaba's supposed to be figuring out how they're cheating. And she's just flustered not being able to figure it out. And also, something else I loved, they waited on the Sojiro figuring out the calling card until there as well. They waited on Sojiro figuring out the Phantom Thief identity until that point as well. And then they had the Akechi and the uncle thing, where it's like, holy crap! Why wasn't the rest of the anime like this?
Yeah, this is that part.
Like, stop trying to copy the game. Give us the characters being the characters.
It's so well done.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what it was. I remember thinking during the Nijima fight that it was actually pretty well done. I don't remember exactly the details of it, of why I liked it. It might have just been that it felt like they were actually kind of struggling a little bit, and I think wasn't there a thing where like Joker used a gun skill thing that he learned from Shinya, or was that a different fight?
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what it was.
I will be honest though, the other the non-party confidants, most of them are there for one scene.
Yeah.
Like the only one that had an episode to him was Mishima.
Yeah, which I think is one of the reasons why it just doesn't work. It makes one scene later on not work very well.
But also, should we mention the post Nijima's palace Nijima arc, the interrogation room scene?
Okay, first, what did you think of Joker getting the whole thing with Joker getting captured? Well, we see him actually getting captured. We see him, from his perspective, getting captured in the first episode, right?
Yeah, and then we see the party members.
Cool. That was really cool.
Party members actually seeing him getting captured.
Yeah, that's really cool that they didn't just show the same scene again.
Yeah.
That's actually really I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a whole thing of Akechi being like, I can't let it end like this. and they like don't they don't like they make it seem like he actually wants.
Yeah, and Akechi,
actually is upset about this. And
they
really
even
decides
show
he
a
wants to
scene
be
where
Joker.
where the Phantom Thieves are being like are figuring out what to do, and Akechi's like, the traitor has there must the person with the black mask must have pulled strings, and you see Ryuji smash the table. Anyone, their first playthrough, their first time is going to think, oh, that's just Ryuji wanting to go save Ren. No. That's Ryuji knowing that Akechi is it. And Ryuji just hearing Akechi being like, I'm gonna go do my best to help Ren out and everything. And Ryuji's like,
bullcrap. He's in his head. He's just like, that's bullcrap.
yeah, where think about that. Think about that scenario in your head where you know the person's lying to you, but you can't call them out at all.
Yeah.
And it's your best friend they're talking about.
Akechi's. Everything with Akechi is.
Honestly, I love just seeing the other Phantom Thieves like perspective on Joker's capture.
Yeah.
It actually made me realize where it's like, oh yeah, Joker's not just captured for like a day. Like, he's held there for several days.
Yeah. I also did kind of like... I did kind of like that they didn't have Ryuji just being like, heh, they got him, our plan is all going according to plan. Like, he's as stressed about it as everybody else. Because it's a very stressful thing, because they have no idea if this is working or not.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite scenes in the whole of Persona 5 when you get that route, where it's like, they don't know if this suicide is for real or not, so it's both... It could be either relief or terror. Like, at the same time.
Like, it's fun. The we got him line, it's fun. It's a fun moment.
It's a fun, like, twist moment when you're playing the game, but it's like Ryuji, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make that much sense.
Like, you don't know 100%.
And I do wonder what would happen if they just left you in the dark for even longer.
Yeah.
It might have been even cool if they just kept you in the dark for even longer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, it's great.
And then it goes downhill. Shido's arc. This is
not great.
The fact that they threw it into 50 minutes is like, oh, this ain't gonna go well. Like, I think they did the best with the 50 minutes they had, but they needed more time. Like, I feel like they definitely needed more time for this.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, 50 minutes was not enough to throw out the Shido arc.
Okay, I want to mention one thing that really, really bothered me was... Okay, in the game, when you fight Akechi, I'm pretty sure after you beat him, I'm pretty sure they basically are implying Akechi is too strong.
We only beat you for the power of teamwork.
We only beat you because we're a team.
Yep, and in this
animation, they're like, oh
I got this.
Joker just beats him by himself.
Don't worry, I got this. You'll never be as good as this guy.
It's so stupid. I hate it so much.
They had such a good thing going with Akechi, and then they just flop.
Yeah, and I think that's the fact that they're like, the only reason we could beat you is because we were a team. Like, that really adds, like, that, I think that, like, adds teeth to when they're like, when Makoto is, like, when they're like, but Akechi, you are really great. You're awesome.
Yeah. And in this one...
Then they're like, you're really great, Akechi. You're awesome. But not as awesome as Joker, am I right? I hate it.
flopped way hard. That is just a
Completely
fail.
killed the emotional impact of that scene.
And then the Shido fight's just like, well, that happened.
Yeah, the Shido fights are just like, it's the same thing again. It's like the first phase is the normal thing where it's like, oh, everybody gets their one cool attack, which isn't that
And then
cool.
Shido punches Ryuji, and then it's the Joker method.
And then Joker solos him.
Yeah.
Easily.
Like the seeing the personas is nice, but it's like, there are other people here!
Yeah, like, is Joker, I think it's like, oh, now Joker's doing a one-on-one fight with it. And at 0 points are you remotely concerned for Joker. You're like, oh yeah, he's got this. Yep, okay.
Yeah, Joker's already level
Okay.
99, Shido doesn't
They
stand.
literally have like a comedy scene in the middle of the fight. It's so dumb.
Yeah, where he punches at Alice, and then she's like,
It's not good.
meh.
It's not a good fight.
Yeah. What did you think of the... And the Ryuji death thing was...
I thought it was done. Yeah, I thought it was done a little bit better, but it was.
They don't beat the crap
They
out
don't
of
beat
them.
the crap out of them. And there was a funny thing where like they're like, "Oh no, Ryuji didn't make it out," and you can actually see him in the background. I thought that was really funny. So I liked it better than the game, but yeah it's still not good. It's still not that great.
Do we even have anything to say on the Yadabath episode? It exists. That's the best I got, is that it exists and it exists.
Okay, I was alright with the first half. I like the fact that they're like they have to like team up just to deal with like his individual like they're like he throws the attack and it takes 3 of them to block it, and then 3 more have to block the other one, and then Joker has to block the other one, and then he does 1 more attack and they're all down.
Yeah.
And they like don't even touch him.
Oh, you're not even talking about the arc at all. You're just talking about the battle.
And the arc. Okay, the arc.
Everyone's gonna get like 1 to 2 sentences. They say 1 word, and then they're out of the jail cell. Okay.
Okay. Actually, I do want to talk about the. I do want to talk about
The Velvet jail scene.
the whole jail scene. I'm thinking about it. I feel like it's kind of missing out on the metaphor of them
breaking
out of the jail cell. So maybe they could have done something like they were all in jail cells near each other or something. But I actually think that I will say the one thing I did like about it. I think that it's actually very clever of them, considering the fact that they have a lot less time in the game. I think it was very clever for them to actually like have them all talk together, like have it be all one group thing. That they're like,
we got a chance
expressing
against this?
all their doubts together. I thought that was actually very.
And then
clever.
Joker says 1 word, and then they're like, "Yeah, we got this."
He doesn't say anything. He says nothing. They're just like, "But Joker, you're cool, so now I'm confident again." I'm like, that's so dumb.
They turned Joker into you.
At least like, I would be all right with it if Joker he was just like he just said, "Are we gonna stop? Are we really gonna stop right here? We have a job to do."
We get
like
silence. Joker
like
just flexes, and they're like, "Yeah, Joker."
Yeah, if they did something like that, I would be like, wow, that was actually really cool. I like that. Nope, they didn't do that. So, yeah, that wasn't great.
And then the second half of the Yadabath fight is just Satsuno pops up, bang, dead.
Yeah, it was fine. It was
Which makes me really sad because Yadabath looked
good.
Fantastic in the scenes he was in. Until they pulled it back, and then it was really tiny.
Oh, yeah, and this is also the thing that I didn't... Yeah, and this is also the thing that I wanted to mention. The scene that was made a lot weaker because they spent so little time on a lot of the Confidants. Which I don't know how they could have solved this, other than if they just had more episodes, which they couldn't do. It was just that, like all their Confidants cheering for them. You're like,
who are half you people?
Play the game. You barely know who these people are.
Yoshida literally gets his first scene in the previous episode, in the Shido episode.
Yeah,
like, the only other time he showed up was Joker just holding up the sign for him, and then Yoshida's backstory is just thrown in. Shinya's backstory isn't even mentioned throughout this whole thing!
We actually joked that, like, Shinya gets 2 lines. One is, Joker, you suck. The other one is, Joker, you're awesome.
You go
Character development! Or something!
The only ones that made any sense there was... Yeah, Shinya and Yoshida should not have been there at all in the first place. Like, every other one...
Chihaya had a little bit, but I still think she was...
Chihaya was at least shown multiple times. Like, every time Joker went to Shinjuku, she was there, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, Sojiro and Mishima, totally fine. They're great.
I believe the Oya and Kawakami stuff. Like, the Kawakami had
Kawakami for sure. Oya...
They had Oya mentioned multiple times.
Oya and Hifumi are okay. They had a decent amount of screen time, but...
But yeah, everyone else is like... EY maybe, but yeah, Shinya and Yoshida is like, who are you people?
Yeah, it definitely did not work as well as the game.
Yeah. And then the ending, which is like, we just skipped over Joker being in jail.
Yeah, he's like, he's in jail. They're like, yeah, you're going to jail. And then they're like, oh, now he's out of jail. And then they like explain after.
Yeah, we got everyone and now you're a free man. Your record's cleared.
Yeah.
Without anything on anyone doing that, which makes me question why we even showed the Confidants in the first place. They aren't gonna do diddly squat.
Yeah, it's...
Because that's the one thing that makes Persona 5 even better, was that they didn't need the metaverse to change someone. To change someone's fate.
Yeah.
And that's just thrown out for like 2-second line.
Yeah, it's not great.
Any final thoughts on the animation? Like,
I want it...
The middle is the best part. Like, Kaneshiro to Nijima, it's fine. Like, this is a fine anime between those points. Anything else is like,
not great. So I want it to be able to say, and I thought, like, before this last watching session, I thought I was going to be able to say that, like, this would be a passable, like, a passable alternative to the game if you don't have time for it. I don't know if I can say that anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
It's... The ending is just too bad. The ending is just not good enough for me to say that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if you like the game a lot, it might be worth a watch. It might be worth a watch. You're going to have to put up with some pretty lousy parts of it. But the good parts of this are actually really good, and I think are
again, between everything between Kaneshiro and the end of Nijima, I think is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it's just it takes a downward spiral very quickly after Nijima.
Like, at times, I think the animation at certain times, I think the animation actually surpasses the writing of the game.
Yeah.
At certain points. Overall, though, it just has too many problems for me to really say that it's really.
It's not an alternative.
It's not an alternative. It's maybe worth your time if you're already a fan. It's not an alternative, though.
Yeah. No matter how much we like the certain parts of it.
Yeah. So, it's alright. I'm glad I watched it. Oh yeah, there's a lot of annoying fan service and it irritates me, I just want to say that. They just randomly throw fan service and
we just kind of throw Nijima butt shots.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, we're in the middle of a fight scene, but you need to look at Makoto's backside for a second.
And do we even need to mention that the certain intro? Which looks like it's more out of Death Note than Persona.
Freaking Dark Sun
2 thing.
Yeah.
Like the
first half is great. I like the first half.
With him on the train and everything,
and
talking with friends, and then it's like, what?
Why does this have to do with anything?
Why is there naked on in Ryuji?
Why does this look like it's for Persona 3?
Which is weird because both of the other intros are pretty good in comparison.
Yeah, they're actually really good. I really like the other two, but Persona 2 is not good.
Yeah, intro 3 is just like, what happened here?
Yeah.
Should I also mention the fact that I kind of found a plot hole with the Mona voice? So
this is not just an animation thing. This is a Persona 5 thing.
Yeah, just putting this out here. How does Mona's voice work? I need a refresher on that because now that I'm thinking about it, Akechi hears him because he hears him because he was in a palace. Wasn't Sai in a palace?
Why does Sai not hear him?
I'm gonna need to find some Persona fans on this where I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Maybe post that on that Facebook page to see if we can come up with anything.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that actually where I'm like, wait a second, what? How does this work?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those plot holes where I wouldn't be over.
Yeah, I'm not angry at it, I'm just kind of confused on how it works because of that.
Yeah, and even if there's not really a good resolution for it, I'm not too bothered by it because really, they could, if they needed to fix the plot hole, literally all they have to do is make it so Sai can understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
They don't need to change anything about the plot. That doesn't really affect the plot that she doesn't understand him.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really bothered by it, but it's kind of...
It just feels like an oversight that they made.
Yeah.
That actually also make me question how the entire metaverse on the second, like everyone being pulled into the metaverse during the Yaldabaoth fight works. If that works in the same way or not.
I mean, that's probably different because that was the reality became the metaverse.
Yeah, I'd say that's a bit different, but yeah, the side going into her palace thing where it's like, she's definitely in a palace.
Yeah, the one theory I kind of had for that was that she didn't have, her brain had no indication that she was in the metaverse.
We'll figure it out. I'll post an answer. If I get an answer from the fan group, I'll post it in the description. But other than that, yeah, the animation. Final thoughts on the animation. It's not an alternative to the game, but I'm not going to say it's not terrible as many people say.
Yeah,
it's run-of-the-mill with great moments.
Yeah, it's mediocre with certain bits of really good, actually.
Like, it's sandwiched in mediocrity, but the middle parts of it is actually great to me.
Yeah.
Like, between Kaneshiro and Nijima's palace, I'd say that's the best part of this animation.
Yeah, if this got, like... I think if this got more time and a better budget, it could have been actually really good. But
it just didn't.
Unfortunately, that's not what we got. And
yeah.
What we got was...
It's passable, but it's just not great.
Yeah.
It's just not Persona 5.
It's not Persona 5. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say this is probably the weakest of the 3 animations.
Yeah.
It's probably
no matter how much I don't like Persona 4 just as a plot together, its anime was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that the Persona 4 animation is actually like it's
how
a lot
they
of
got
people
into
say that
Persona.
yeah, and it's actually like pretty like a lot of people say. I hear a lot of people say they think it's the best one. I mean, I personally am biased towards the Persona 3 one because I absolutely love some of the Persona 3 movies. But
yeah.
even
though
3 and 4 are pretty good, this one it struggles.
Yeah, this one is the one that struggles the most with just how long the game is. Like, I don't blame it. Persona 5 on a first playthrough can easily be like double the time it takes to beat Persona 4 and 3.
Yeah. And also Persona 3 is it's pretty light on main plot.
Which is why it was able to do a movie plot so easily with the 4 movies.
And the other problem with adapting Persona 5, I think, is because of how he ends up summoning Satanael at the end, like, it's extremely hard to justify not going into the Confidants because they're so important to that scene. That Persona 3, I don't remember for sure about Persona 4, but Persona 3 doesn't really have that problem.
One thing Persona 4 had actually was that most of the dungeons were constricted to 1 episode, and then there were like 3 episodes around it.
Yeah.
You can't do that with this game. Like, because of how the palace rulers work, you can't really do that. You can't just be like, oh, we'll just blow through their dungeon and then give them some time in their social link like you can with the P4 cast. You can't just be like, we'll just do Naoto's dungeon and we'll just do Yukiko's dungeon in like 2 episodes and then give people time with Chie and Yukiko throughout the series.
Yeah, it's almost like the dungeons in Persona 5 were done so well that you need to actually were done so much better that you need to actually put time into them. But the Persona 4 dungeons, it's just kind of like, here's a gameplay RPG section, and then we have like a whole fight with major character stuff. So you can kind of just skip to the fight more.
Yes. Meanwhile, you can't do that with the palace because that's how you get the palace's rulers' personalities. And then they're just gone from the rest of the plot.
And then in Persona 3, it's like, almost all the plot happens on a full moon.
Yeah.
So...
And then you can just throw the confidants and the social links in between.
Yeah. And if you have to skip some, not really a problem, because they're not that important.
So yeah, honestly, I feel like Persona 5 just had all the just problems. Like, everything was tacked against it to not... I don't think you'd be able to make this into an anime unless you had, like, 50 episodes.
Yeah, this needed a lot. I think this needs...
Like, this needed like, doubled episodes. Like, I think it has, like, 27. It needed, like, 40 at the least.
Yeah.
In order to justify it.
They just did not have enough. Like,
They didn't have the budget or the time.
I'm thoroughly impressed with how well they handled the Confidants, and it still wasn't nearly enough.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately think they did a really good... They gave it their best shot, and I'm thoroughly impressed with how well they did. It wasn't even close to what they needed.
I'm sorry, Persona, but it's like, you tried your best, but it's just not enough. Yeah. Persona 5's way too big for the time they had.
Yeah, they just didn't.
They just I feel like they just rushed through it way too quick.
Yeah,
like they needed more episodes, but I don't think they had the budget for that.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that I don't.
If the rumors are true that they're going to make like another segment of this anime with the royal content. If those rumors are actually true, I think they might be able to do, like, some more, like, backpedaling, kind of like how Persona 4 Golden did. Where Persona 4 Golden anime also backpedaled a bit, showing, like, a bit more, like, scenes and such. with
Maybe.
Confidants they weren't able to fit in the anime as itself. If they're able to do that, I think Royal Anime could do a lot better.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
If those rumors are true, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, this series. Rumors.
Have you heard the rumors?
So, yeah. Mediocre beginning and end, great middle.
I'd say at the very least, if you're a fan of Persona 5, there are definitely some scenes that are worth your time. There are definitely some scenes, maybe even some full episodes that are worth your time. I'm not sure I would say.
I would stick between Kaneshiro and Nijima.
Yeah.
Like between the Makoto being introduced for the Kaneshiro arc and the end of the Nijima arc.
Yeah. That section is generally pretty solid.
Yeah, but anything past those is like mediocre at best. Or just not good.
If you're not a Persona 5 fan and you've never watched this, I don't know why you're this far into the video, but because you probably spoiled like half the game. But yeah, you kind of need to play the game, or at least like watch a playthrough of it or something.
Yeah.
The animation is not good enough for that.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
It just can't fit at all. Valiant attempt, missed potential.
Yeah. So I guess that's our
50th Rambling Review.
Our 50th Rambling Review. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a downer.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Yeah. See you guys next time on whatever video you watch.
Take care.